The world has heard this warning before: a regional conflict, rising tensions, powerful nations choosing sides. Some say it could lead to a world war. But history teaches something important. World wars rarely begin with one dramatic moment. They begin quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, long before the first shot is fired. To understand whether the world could face another global war, we must first understand how the last ones actually began. Because the pattern is not what most people think. In the early 1900s, Europe believed it was entering an age of stability. Empires dominated the continent. The British Empire ruled the seas, the German Empire was rising rapidly, and the Russian Empire stretched across continents. Trade was booming, technology was advancing. Many people believed major war had become impossible. But beneath that calm surface, powerful forces were quietly building. Nationalism, rivalry, fear, and most importantly, alliances. Countries began forming military partnerships designed to protect themselves. But those alliances created a dangerous system. If one country went to war, others would be pulled in automatically, like falling dominoes. And when the first domino finally fell, the world would discover how fragile peace really was. On June 28, 1914, a young nationalist named Gavrilo Princip stepped forward in the city of Sarajevo. Moments earlier, the driver of a royal car had made a wrong turn. Inside that car sat Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Princip fired 2 shots. Within minutes, the Archduke and his wife were dead. At first, it seemed like a tragic but local event. But within weeks, alliances began activating. The Austro-Hungarian Empire declared war on Serbia, Russia mobilized to defend Serbia, Germany mobilized to support Austria-Hungary, France mobilized against Germany, then Britain joined the conflict. Within a month, the world's largest powers were at war, not because they wanted global war, but because the system they had built made it almost impossible to avoid. World War I was supposed to last a few months. Instead, it lasted 4 years. Millions of soldiers dug trenches across Europe. Entire cities were destroyed. By the time the war ended in 1918, more than 16 million people had died. And yet, the world still believed it had learned its lesson. Leaders promised that the next war would never happen again. But the conditions that created the First World War had not truly disappeared. They had only changed form. 20 years later, the world once again believed it could maintain peace. But powerful forces were rising again. Economic collapse, political extremism, and leaders determined to expand their power. One of them was Adolf Hitler. In 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This time, the response was immediate. Britain and France declared war. The conflict spread rapidly across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Eventually, the war would involve more than 60 countries. By the end of World War II, over 70 million people had died, the deadliest conflict in human history. And once again, the world asked the same question: how could something so catastrophic begin? After World War II, a new kind of conflict emerged. 2 superpowers dominated global politics: the United States and the Soviet Union. Both possessed nuclear weapons capable of destroying civilization. This period became known as the Cold War. Unlike previous conflicts, a direct war between these powers could end humanity itself. There were moments when the world came frighteningly close. One of the most dangerous occurred during the Cuban Missile Crisis. For 13 days, nuclear war seemed possible. Missiles were prepared, armies were ready. But in the end, leaders stepped back from the edge, and the war never came. Today, global tensions still exist. Conflicts continue to appear across different regions of the world. Powerful nations still form alliances. Military technology is more advanced than ever. Yet the world is also deeply interconnected. Trade, communication, and international institutions link countries together in ways that did not exist a century ago. This makes global war both more dangerous and less likely at the same time. Because while the risks are real, the consequences are now impossible to ignore. History does not move in straight lines. It moves through decisions, through choices made by leaders, and sometimes by ordinary people. World wars were never inevitable. They were the result of human actions, and that means the future is not written yet. The world has stood at the edge before. And each time what mattered most was the decisions made in the moments that followed. History teaches us one thing above all. The path to war is built slowly, but the path away from it can begin with a single decision.